Sitting on the foothills of Sierra Nevada in a forest of ponderosa pines, there lays a red house that is the home to Chuck Brasher's marvelous standard gauge collection and train layout. When you go up that entrance stairway into the room above, the first thing you'll react is, wow, or cool, for seeing all these brightly colored tinplate trains. All of them were made in the 1920s and 1930s. The layout is measured 20 by 60 feet of length and width, with a ton of track, 32 switches, 17 sidings, and 7 passovers. The layout is all powered by Z transformers, and the wires were coated by simply soldering them onto the outputs. The surface of the tables were thick plywood boards that had a neutral color to help contrast with the colorful trains. At both ends of the layout, you can see other standard gauge trains being put on the shelves on display. Several standard gauge trains were running around the layout. Like I said before in my last series, all these standard gauge trains were beautiful art treasures. The stage set is the best example of this.
Giant 4-car transcontinental.
It was a two-tone green set that consists of an electric pulling 4 passenger cars named after U.S. states. The 412 California, the 413 Colorado, the 414 Illinois, and the 416 New York. But where is the 415 passenger car? If there is a 415 on the stage set's passenger consist, would that be named after the state of Pennsylvania? Who can say? The fabulous Blue Comet set in two-tone blue, which was the train that took passengers on a weekend excursion to Atlantic City, New Jersey. It consisted of 3 passenger cars named after actual comets: Faye, Westfall, and Temple. The passenger car, Bernard, didn't come with the standard gauge Blue Comet until later versions of the set, which was just an add-on. But there is one thing that both of these sets had in common. They had elaborate decorating inside the passenger cars. Other sets, such as the Ives Black Diamond and the coveted Orange Banker Special, are both beautiful sets. I didn't know that the Ives Black 1132 had pulled a passenger train that is considered to be a set. Usually I just associate the Black 1132 with the Ives Circus set, or when it's painted in red and gold for the National Limited set, or brass or gold for the Prosperity Special. And there's also the Olympian, minus the passenger cars that was supposed to come with. Yeah, apparently Chuck couldn't find the passenger cars that came with the Olympian, so instead he added a freight train to the Olympian Electric, which I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't look bad with the freight train consist. For American Flyer, there is the splendid President Special that had an eagle perching on its pedestal and was painted in a rose blue with golden brass trimming. It was always held in high regard by collectors for being one of the most majestic American Flyer sets ever made. Other trains running around the layout was this red Ives set, the American Flyer Pocahontas set, and many more. Brasher had carefully laid out the track plan according to his blueprints. He tried to add in many accessories on his layout so they can accommodate with the tracks and trains. His idea was to make the standard gauge accessories operate in the way that they're intended. Like for instance, one accessory for passenger excursions, and the other accessories for freight. Chuck Brasher also had acquired some of the rarest and hardest to find rolling stock and accessories. Here's the Harmony Creamery car, made for the Harmony Dairy Company in Harmony, Pennsylvania. The 199 Dairy car, made in 1930, 2 versions of the Ives 190 tank car from the transitional era. One is yellow and is made up of parts from Lionel, American Flyer, and Ives all together. And the other was an orange one that is probably one of the hardest to find standard gauge items. The Lionel 921 Park looks good as a backdrop behind the American Flyer freight train, but if you look closely, you can see that the middle section of the set is actually rare to find. The American Flyer Mac Junction Water Tower, the Lionel 441 Weight Station, the door fan crane with die-cast parts and gears, and the Lionel 116 Station, which looks like the 115 station, but a little wider. Again, all these items are rare to find, and maybe to this day, they might still be rare to find, Here are some of the more valuable items, such as this American Flyer Union Station, which is made out of flimsy cardboard, making it likely to be either smushed or broken. These nice Ives transitional cars, the Ives Water Tower with a Lionel signal base, 2 American Flyer 211 Salt Lake bridges, 2 Lionel 300 Hellgate bridges, one painted in the standard green and cream colors, and the other painted in silver and red colors. The plain glass Ives double station, I love the artwork of that ticket office on the station walls. The Lionel 140 metal tunnel, and the Lionel 129 station that comes with the 124 and 1115 stations. Plus, there is a Lionel O-gauge gateman that looked perfectly in scale to the rest of the standard gauge layout. Out of all the standard gauge steam engines made by different manufacturers, Chuck's favorite standard gauge steam engines were the American Flyer ones, because they're more powerful and run very smoothly than the rest of the steam engines from Lionel or Ives. They can haul some longer freight trains or even longer passenger trains. Those engines are certainly powerhouses. And for the rest of the video, we get to sit back, relax, listen to some smooth jazz music, and watch the trains run as they speak for themselves on what made standard gauge trains so golden. So, I had nothing else to say about Chuck Brasher's layout. I just think that it was a superb work of art in and of itself. It really pays a tribute to the beautiful tinplate trains that many toy train collectors knew fondly of. I love this layout, and I love how it was set up. It was a myriad of toy trains and accessories, ranging from the most rare to the most frequent, running in conjunction with one another. It makes the standard gauge layout look like a real industrial railway. There may not be any detailed scale scenery since this was only a toy train layout, but the accessories on the layout were well integrated with the trains, making them feel like that they do serve as backdrops themselves, including the tunnel and park set. In later years, we'd seen Chuck Brasher's layout to grow over time by adding more trains, more tracks, and more accessories on there, so it can look more splendid than ever before. It was an excellent layout, and I personally would love to go see it in person if I flew all the way out to California. I love the shot where they filmed inside an Ives passenger car, making it look like we're riding on a train in human eye view. Tomorrow is going to be a big one, because we're moving on to Stan Roy from Glenview, Illinois, and his automated train layout. So brace yourselves.
I'm proud. How could I not be?
More like Chuck Bashful.